Welcome back to AM Northwest. Holidays really should be joyful, but sometimes family drama can take center stage. Here with tips for ditching the drama, we welcome back psychologist Goldie Sadie. Good to see you again.
Great to be back. Thank you.
Really, this Christmas season, the holiday season, it's going to be tough for a lot of families, especially when it comes to politics, probably. But one of your tips on how to deal with the family drama, to not have some, is to be impeccable with your word. And what do you mean by that?
Yeah, well, this comes from there's this really great book called The Four Agreements that you may have heard of, and they talk a lot about ways of changing our perspective, right, that can really help during the holidays. So being impeccable with our word is about being very deliberate and very careful about what we're saying. So gossip is something that can come up a lot during the holidays, right? So, oh, they made this casserole again, or this person's marriage is on the rocks, or whatever it is that's going on.
Sure.
So the idea that our words can really be emotional poison. I mean, think about a time where you might have had something frustrating happen, and you're telling the story to somebody else, and every time you say it, you get more and more agitated, right? You get angry as though you're going through it all over again.
Oh, yeah.
And so the thought is to not put all of our energy into this negative, because it's just generating that. So the more kind our words, the more kind the world will really become. And it's pretty, commonsensical, but that's really what it comes down to.
And also, I mean, you're around family members who can push your buttons.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you may want to be careful to not take anything personally.
Yeah, that's a very big one. Many times we're very quick to assume that people are trying to offend us when they may not. And it might be that we're very sensitive or something like that is going on, but that doesn't mean that they're really attacking us. So here's an example. I had a client that I was working with, and her sister was home for the holidays. And my client and I, we were at a really great space, and she said, my sister is just picking on me all the time. She's always picking fights, and actually it was political too at the time. And it was interesting. And I said, you know what, maybe it's not about you. Maybe your sister is going through something difficult, and you're an easy target. And I think she was taking it very personally of, I'm a bad daughter, I'm a bad sister, and all of this, when really it was about what was going on with somebody completely different.
Oh.
So being aware that it's not always about you, and many times we can be very narcissistic or selfish and think the whole world revolves around us, but it's not. People have their own dramas.
The sister could actually be picking on her,
yeah,
but it may not be anything she needs to worry about.
Exactly.
Don't make assumptions.
Yeah, we can be very quick to assume that people know what we're thinking. In cognitive behavioral therapy, we talk a lot about the idea of mind reading or fortune telling. So we think that, this person knows exactly what I want. So I might say, well, my husband should have known what gift I wanted for Christmas. Or I might be assuming, well, my in-laws said this, and this must mean that they don't really love me. So it can be very quick to jump to conclusions that really there's no evidence for.
Right.
Many times we're coming from a very emotional state because, again, the holidays can be very stressful.
Right.
And so when we're feeling more taxed, we're more likely to be very sensitive, to assume things, take things personally. It all goes together.
I can see how people do that a lot with texts between family members,
absolutely.
how things are assumed. And
yeah.
So my philosophy is always assume the best until you absolutely know.
Exactly.
Especially with text.
Yeah.
Always do your best.
Yeah, I think, that's really my favorite of the Four Agreements. And again, the book goes much more into it, but it's this idea of if you love what you're doing, it's no longer work. And so when you're looking at the holidays, maybe you're not really good at baking cookies, but you're really great with little kids. So you might volunteer and say, you know what, I'm going to help the kids with crafts, right? And you have a craft segment coming up next too, right? But this idea being that, let's play to our strengths, but also take good care of ourselves. In therapy, we talk about self-care all of the time. So if you want to get away and go to the gym for 15 minutes to work out, to get out all of that anxiety, then that's a great thing to do. And no one's going to be upset with you for doing that.
Right. Do you think we put too much responsibility on ourselves to try to make this holiday perfect?
I think so. We were just talking about the fact that expectations can oftentimes ruin things because we want things to be perfect. We want things to be a certain way. And so really being aware that, so long as we're together, we're happy, we can be more lighthearted about it, that's ultimately what the holiday season's about.
Should you set rules about what to talk about, what not to talk about at the family table?
I think that's actually a pretty safe bet too. I've known family members say, you know what, let's not talk about politics. Let's go around and talk about what we're grateful for. That's what we did this last Thanksgiving. Right. Is we, went around and expressed our gratitude. And so I think that's something that during the holidays oftentimes can really be missing for us.
Absolutely. Well, all very good tips. Goldie, appreciate that. We'll put the information on our website at KATU.com.